Greetings, I'm Craig Smizer. I just want to give you an update on the mess that is the 2019 property tax appraisal protest process in Travis County. Now, before I continue, in case you don't know anything about me, I'm a real estate agent and have been teaching workshops on how to protest your property tax appraisal for the last 10 years. Now, first of all, if you're protesting your own appraisal, you most likely have not received your hearing notification yet. Don't worry about it, because they haven't sent the vast majority of the notifications out yet. Yes, they are way behind schedule, and let me explain why. The big issue is this. Without any formal announcement, TCAD eliminated in-person, informal hearings this year. And this was a very last-minute announcement that caught everyone by surprise. So this means that in 2019, no taxpayer gets to have a face-to-face meeting with a county appraiser to discuss their situation in an informal setting. TCAD has allowed this for decades, just like almost every other county in the great state of Texas. Now, I'll add that the 3 or 4 counties that don't do informal hearings are all very sparsely populated rural counties. So this year, your only in-person choice is a formal hearing in front of the Appraisal Review Board. So why is this being done? Well, TCAD won't say. I've asked them and get no answer. Media members have asked them. Companies who protest on your behalf have asked them. And yet no reason has been given. Now, I'm very cynical and suspicious whenever it comes to TCAD. So let me share my thoughts with you. According to Texas ProTax, which is one of the firms that you can hire to protest your property tax appraisal, over the past few years, well more than half of the protests filed were settled at informal hearings. Further, the likelihood of the taxpayer prevailing is higher at the informal hearings than at the formal ARB hearings. So as a guy who always follows the money, it sure seems like the overall number of taxpayers who are expected to get reductions this year will be lower with the elimination of the informal hearings. But it gets better, or worse, I guess. Because every hearing is a formal hearing in front of a 3-member board, TCAD had to hire many, many more board members this year, which of course costs taxpayers more money. How much more? Well, according to TCAD, over $1.4 million more. That's right. The 2018 cost for ARB members was around $257,000. And this year, the expected cost is $1.7 million taxpayer dollars. Again, TCAD has not put out any public statement justifying this change. But according to one Texas pro-tax attorney, the decision was made by the TCAD chief appraiser without any public discussion and without any input from stakeholders. Another change made is that TCAD is scheduling all of the represented protests first. That means firms like Texas ProTax are doing all of their protests right now. Once these agents are done, individuals representing themselves will go. And this is the reason you haven't received a notice about your protest yet. In fact, TCAD told me they expect the individual hearings won't start until August and will extend into September. So most likely, you'll only receive a 2 or 3 week notice before your hearing. Now, under Texas law, the chief appraiser is to certify the tax appraisal rolls by July 25th. However, since Travis County is a large population county, TCAD can get an extension until August 30th. But it doesn't even sound like they're going to meet that deadline. So what does that mean? Well, all of the taxing bodies, like the cities, the school districts, the water districts, etc., won't be able to set their tax rates in a timely manner because they won't know the total appraised value of properties in their jurisdiction. If TCAD takes too long, the taxing entities could miss their state-mandated deadlines. But keep in mind, the law has no penalty for TCAD or the taxing entities if they miss these dates. Maybe the legislature needs to revisit that one. Another thing I want to mention is that the chief appraiser is wanting to get a new, larger building or a second building for TCAD. Again, I'm cynical about this stuff and always want to follow the money. Could it be that by getting rid of the informal hearings and needing a lot more office space for all of these appraisal review boards, that the chief appraiser can demonstrate that a new building is desperately needed, that this one is just too small? You never know. Anyway, the whole thing's a giant mess this year. In my conversations with people who track this stuff closer than I do, they all point to the chief appraiser as the source of the problems. And they all say that overall they expect fewer taxpayers to win their protests this year, and therefore the taxable property value in Travis County is going to be higher. It's all just a little bit infuriating, isn't it? Well, I've rambled longer than I should have, so if you have any questions about the tax protest process, don't hesitate to ask. And of course, if you or your family or your friends are in need of real estate services, please contact me today. I'm Craig Smizer.